Hey, happy Monday. Welcome back to another Might Be You Monday. Today I have a special portrait that I'm going to be drawing, but before I get started, I want to remind you that I am here to draw your portraits. So, no strings attached. If you would like me to draw you or someone you know, just send me their photo to hello@erinreinholtz.com. And every Monday, I will pick one of the portraits from those submitted to draw right here live on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and get started with today's portrait. This time I'm continuing to use this ebony pencil. I've got a kneaded eraser. I have the most awesome pencil sharpener by Staedtler, and I have some Tombow eraser pens. It is very, very cold today here in the Grand Rapids, Michigan area. And it is starting to snow. So I'm just watching it kind of out the window. But luckily, I'm feeling very grateful to have heat in my studio, working heat. I know there's probably a lot of people that are dealing without heat in this cold, and I'm feeling very fortunate that I have a cozy place to be and a comfy roof over my head, and that our internet connection is still working so that we can stream today's drawing. Now, this time, like I said, I'm drawing somebody special. This is a public figure. One time I drew a celebrity and I was seeing if you could guess who I was drawing. And so today you might have some guesses as we progress and be able to tell me if you know who this is. Typically for Might Be You Monday, I like to surprise you with the drawing of one of you. And if you happen to see me draw the portrait that you submit and you just leave a comment letting me know, I will send it to you for free. But this drawing today, I'm curious to see as we go along if I can get it recognizable enough that you can identify who this person is. Anyways, while I was sitting here preparing for today's drawing, I was thinking, for some reason, I was thinking about my story and how I got kind of to the place where I'm at today. And I'm always really interested in people's stories. I have 4 kids, as a lot of you know. My oldest one is getting ready to start high school in the fall. And we talk sometimes about what he might want to do in the future. And I think being that age is kind of hard to tell. Some people have a really clear idea of what they want to do. It's like those people kind of almost always have known what they want to do, or at least have some inkling. For me, I always was drawn to the arts, and I think I kind of always wanted to be some sort of artist. Although when I was younger, I do remember telling my parents that I wanted to be a veterinarian because I also really love animals. And I remember kind of having this casual conversation with my dad about how I wanted to do that, and he mentioned to me something about like, well, what do you think you would do? How would you handle it when the animals die? Because sometimes part of that job means that you have to um, deal with animals that are very ill, and not all of them make it. And I don't know if that's exactly what changed my mind or steered me away, but I'm pretty sure that had quite a lot to do with it. But anyway, so I was thinking, I after that, I kind of always wanted to do something with the arts, and I was really interested in actually computer animation for a while. And I started looking at programs and schools that offered computer animation. And I really liked computers, and I was really interested in kind of a bit of computer programming, but not so much just to program. I liked that there was a creative aspect and also kind of the sciencey, puzzly aspect of getting the computer to create things by working with its code, but that they could be artistic and such. And this was also around the time when animation was becoming a really big thing. Like Pixar kind of was just getting started, and the movie Monsters Inc. had come out, and it was like groundbreaking the way that they, created Sully's fur texture. I remember that being such a big thing, a big deal. And so I thought, wow, I think I want to work for Pixar. And so I kind of reverse engineered like what I had to do in order to be able to get a job working as an animator for Pixar. And so I kind of laid that all out. I remember I had this thing I wrote out and I had it hanging on my wall. And so I ended up going to school thinking, yes, I'm going to do that. But before I went away to college, I wasn't quite ready to go. I gave it a brief try, and I think I got homesick, and I thought, I'm going to go start at community college instead. So I moved back home, and I went to community college, and we had a really great community college where I grew up. It was Harper College in Palatine, Illinois. It's still there. And one of the, prereq courses that I took was Psych 101. And that class really introduced me to psychology. And that really opened this fascination for me of the human mind and just the way that neurotransmitters worked and so much was going on in our brains. And I became really, really intrigued by all of this. And it was also around this time that I had gotten introduced to an art therapist. And so I started thinking, about art therapy being an option for me. So that was kind of just like on the back burner for a while. Well, ironically, the professor, his name was Charlie Johnson. Johnston, I think Johnson. He was kind of this quirky guy, like there was just something funky about him, but he taught the class well, and it was just very, very interesting to me. I found it very fascinating. And anyways, all this to say, I graduated from the 2-year school with a degree in Associate of Fine Arts, Associate of Arts, and I got those 2 degrees, and then I did go back to the 4-year school and completed my degree. And I decided to enter the Time Arts program, which is what they called it there. And to do that, you had to start off with your classes and then create a portfolio of your materials and your projects that you worked on and then submit it for portfolio review. And I think it was maybe about, I don't know if it was about half, give or take, half of the people that submitted would pass this review and then could go on to finish the degree in the Time Arts program. So it's kind of a gamble, but I made it through and I passed. And then like shortly thereafter, I realized like, wow, I'm kind of getting sick of just working on computers all the time. I'm kind of missing the people interaction and just something else, like sitting in front of the computer the whole time. And even though it was cool and part of it was interesting, I just missed like more of the actual work on paper and just like more interactions with other people and other environments and such. So I picked up a minor in psychology in college, and I ended up graduating with my studio fine art degree and also the minor in psych. And I went on and I did get a master's in art therapy because at that point I knew I did not want to be an animator anymore. I wanted to use my art in a creative way, but I also couldn't shake that fascination for the psychology component. And so that's what I did. And then I did go to work in that field for a couple of years. But I was curious whatever happened to Charlie Johnson. And so right before I started this live, I just did a quick Google search to see if he was still professing over there. And he's not. He actually, wildly enough, he was arrested for some serious criminal activity. And I'll leave you to that if you choose to Google it yourself. But, that's always a very interesting thing when somebody who is in the psychology world kind of has some of their own psychoses. But anyways, that's a topic for another day. For today, I just revisiting, the journey. And one thing that I think is so important too is we can kind of lay out an idea of where we want to go in life and what we think our path might be or should be. But we never really know what's going to happen because obviously it's not really under our control exactly. And I also think we just can't see far enough ahead to know what is the next step. Our journey is not linear. We don't go from point A to point B we oftentimes can't even realize the options we have until we've already made the choice to do something else first. And is that is probably what makes it so cool and exciting, I think. Okay, as I draw, I am on week 2 of using this Restream technology to try to be able to film both myself in this thumbnail picture, as well as the the scene that I'm actually drawing. And I'm undecided if I like this and if I'm going to continue this next time. I thought it might be cool for you guys to be able to actually see my face while I'm talking and see the drawing while I'm drawing. But I'm noticing that it seems like there's less activity, less interaction going on than there was when I was streaming directly from YouTube itself. And so that's not fun at all. And I might try next week to switch it back. And that means you won't be able to see me in the thumbnail, but I'm not sure that's really going to bother anybody. So if you have an opinion about that, let me know. I would love to hear it. Otherwise, I will just continue on with the drawing. And I'm getting into the eyes now. Last week I did a reductive drawing where I toned the whole paper dark with a charcoal stick and then worked in with an eraser to actually draw. And this time I'm back to just drawing with my pencil right away on the white paper. And it's just something to switch it up. I like to do both, but I'm gonna just switch it up today. Keep me on my toes and keep things interesting. So today is January 20th. It's a big deal in the United States. We are celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. Day today, and my kids are off from school for that reason. And we talk about dreams and how we treat each other and trying to be good humans and good citizens and what that means and how we can do better. And today is also the day that we shift presidents one to the next, and I know that's quite controversial right now, so it's a big day in the country. It's also more than halfway through January, and in my house, my daughters are starting to decorate for Valentine's Day, which is not something that we have typically done in the past. But we took down all of the holiday decor and it was feeling a little bleak. And we thought, you know what? Let's make it festive again. So they got to work on that. They have hearts and things all over the place now, going in from the 6-year-old and the 9-year-old. So that's been fun. All right, as I draw, it's neat for me to be able to see, I'm using my reference photo and then I'm seeing my drawing in front of me and then I'm seeing the recording of my drawing in front of me, and it's helping me kind of check and see actually proportion. I always recommend that when you're gonna draw, it's always best for accurate proportions to have your drawing upright more, so like at an easel. So drawing kind of flat like this kind of distorts things. And also, I'm always trying to finish the drawing within a half hour. So far, I've been meeting like a 45-minute limit, but trying to draw quick and not get overly obsessed with perfection. You know, we'll see if I do it today. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm checking things and trying to see like what needs to be adjusted or changed as I go. But we're getting into the eyes. And if you are here, it looks quiet today, but if you're here watching the live, send me a little comment, say hello so I know you're here. This is the first time that I actually have the YouTube window open on my iPad next to me so that I can see it next to the reference photo and try to see the actual chat, because last week we had some issues going on with the chat that some people couldn't chat and some wasn't showing up. And I hope it's working today. Like I said, I'm not so sure about this restream stuff, or I might have more that I need to figure out if I'm going to continue using it. All right, let's get those eyebrows in there. I got a new eraser since last week too, and I was using this Tombow pen eraser, but I had the round one, this one here, and I saw they made a rectangular one, and so I got this one as well, and so that's helpful for some like bigger spaces and flat edges, but really precise. I really enjoy that. So I got mine at the local Michaels. You can do that too, or you can buy it on Amazon. If I remember when I create the description for this video, I'll put a little link in there for you. They are fairly inexpensive, and I do use these a lot. Okay, so far so good. I got some comments last time because I was telling a story about a trip that I took, and some of you were telling me like that you just couldn't believe, first of all, that I could talk while I was drawing. And I just want to say that it didn't always come that naturally. And now I feel like I can actually do that pretty good. It took me maybe a few years to be able to do that. I remember I used to do this thing where I would just go live on Instagram while I was working on a painting, and I would just let people in and kind of just get like a behind the scenes kind of hangout vibe in my studio. And I'd just be working at a painting, and you could just kind of be there and watch. And I would try to talk or interact, and it was a challenge. It really was. But it's a skill that I think I have developed. But all that to say, when I'm really focused on a painting, it is hard for me to talk and paint at the same time because especially at certain stages in the artwork, it requires so much thought. And that's more like when I'm laying out a composition and trying to decide where things should go. That is hard for me I need like my full focus. So sometimes I have like my kids want to come and hang out in the studio with me, and I love when they do that. But I just have to plan around that because certain things require certain levels of attention. So I just wanted to say that like if you were surprised by that, or if you're an artist and you are struggling to be able to talk while you're creating, like it's just another skill that will come with time. All right, so we've got the eyes set in there pretty well, and now I'm jumping into the nose. And if you start to recognize or think you have a guess for who this is, I would love to know who you think it is, and I will tell you if your guess is correct. And in the meantime, I'm adding some shadows in, and I'm going to give some shape to this nose here. And I am really hoping that this chat feature is working today. I thought about popping it up. I have it turned off on the restream, and I'm just looking at YouTube for the chat. And so I'm hoping that I'm not missing anything that is actually showing up on restream and not on YouTube. But I think it's supposed to be showing up in both places. I don't know for sure. Let's add some more shadow in here. Get this. There we go. Get this shape of the hairline in there. Okay. I love these pencils so much. I think I started using these in high school, and I've like never looked back. Everybody's got their own favorites, but I'm telling you, they blend so well and they create such nice deep darks. So that's really one of the reasons why I like them. But they can also get really, really sharp for lots of detail, which is awesome. And they're by Prismacolor, which if you're at all familiar with Prismacolor pencils, then you probably know that Prismacolor makes a nice pencil product. Okay. So anyways, yeah, so I'm glad you enjoyed my story from last week. And if you missed it, that video is on here. You can go back and watch the old videos. They're up here, and you can hear my story. It was just about the time that I almost got stuck in London. But yeah, I was thinking about like stories to tell you today. And so as I was talking about my journey kind of a little bit, and the surprise that my teacher that inspired my psychology journey ended up having like a psychological breakdown was just just a bit ironic. Even more ironic is had that taken place in California, he might have been he might have been sent to where I worked if the timing aligned, which it really wouldn't have. But here we go. So yeah, so after I graduated with my master's in art therapy, I worked with children at a therapeutic day school for a while. And that was a really great experience and rewarding environment to work in. And then I moved to California, and I worked for the state of California for a while in a forensic psychiatric facility with adults. My team was trying to restore them to return to trial because they were found incompetent to stand trial, the people that worked in my unit. And so part of that means that I worked in groups with people, and we would do some creative activities or recreational activities together while helping them learn what they needed to know in order to return to court and successfully complete their court hearing. Also a rewarding and very interesting job. Lots of really neat people that I worked with. Get to be part of a lot of people's stories. And it also helped me see just the struggles that exist in our society, and it just makes me have a lot of compassion for all kinds of people, and just helped me to really see that everybody is dealt such a different deck of cards and is trying to do their best, and that resources are just different for some people. Like, we're quick to judge, but sometimes we forget that not everybody has the same resources or is easy to be able to access those resources as it can be in some areas versus others. And now I am in Michigan. So on this very cool day, all the Californians enjoying the sunshine, but I do feel for those who are dealing with those horrible fires. There's something everywhere sometimes. It's like, it's never easy all the time for anybody. Just send my love to those who need it in California. All right, so we're working on this ear now, and I'm hoping this is starting to get to the point of recognition. I never remember to keep track of the time. Like, I'm always hoping to aim for the half hour, and somewhere on here, maybe it kept time. I know we started around 1 o'clock, so I guess that helps. Okay, I'm checking proportions now. So the bottom of that earlobe with the angle of this face, it comes across right about here. It looks pretty accurate to me, so I'm going to keep going with that. Okay, we've got some smile line over here. There we go. These little details. And even though I was just saying that I'm so thankful to have heat in my studio, it's starting to get a little cold. My fingers are feeling a little bit cold. Not too bad though. I saw that they started putting swimsuits out in the store, and my son and I were shopping together. We were not shopping for swimsuits, but we were talking about how it's like as soon as the holiday stuff goes away, they set up for like Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day, and then they put the swimsuits out. And I understand it's probably for people who go on like a winter break, or I don't know, maybe a winter break, or maybe it's just to get you in the mode for like spring break. But it's like as soon as you see that stuff, it's like we finally get climatized and acclimated to winter, and then we see that stuff, and it's like we can't think about that yet because we have at least another probably 2 months worth of cold before it even starts to get spring-like. So I'm always telling my kids when they see that a lot of times there's like no snow in December. This December we didn't have snow, but a lot of times there's not much snow in December, if any. And I'm always trying to tell them, like, remember, guys, like February. February is usually our snowiest in my experience. So we're not even there yet. We are not even there yet. We got ways to go. And I'm not complaining because it really feels like it's kind of just gotten started. But this cold this week is quite cold. And my husband was recently in Texas for some work things, and they actually had some slush there where he was at, and he was saying they had to closed down the schools preemptively, and all the highways shut down. And it's just, they're just not prepared for that. If that happened here, it would be like no big thing what they got, but everywhere's different. So here we all thought like, oh man, my kids are like, oh, Dad's going to Texas. Can we go with? It's gonna be so warm there. And I'm like, no, we can't go with. We got school and all this stuff. We just had winter break. We got back to school. And so Dad's in Texas, and they're like, oh, he's gonna be warm. It's gonna be hot. He's wearing shorts. And nope, he sure wasn't. Of course, it started to warm up like the day he left. His last day, right after he left, started warming up. Isn't that how it always goes? My mind is starting to daydream a bit about places to travel to next. I get wanderlust a bit. I feel like it's been a while since I've traveled anywhere outside of the Midwest. And so we're talking about where to go. And we have a trip to Georgia coming up, which we've been, but it's been a number of years, and I think Savannah's so charming, such a charming place. So we're going there. So we have a little trip there. And I think, was it last time when I was talking about travel and my story about the London Tube? I think that started because I was talking about trying to figure out where I would go on my next trip overseas. And nobody gave me any suggestions yet. So I'm still waiting. If you have a suggestion, don't be shy. Tell me, because I want to know. Okay, we got the lips coming in. There's some personality in these lips. So the expression, this one's an expressive portrait. I feel like there's a lot of emotion maybe in this. And there's no teeth today. I always talk about teeth. There were teeth last time, but there's no teeth today. So that might be one thing that gets me closer to the half-hour limit. We're getting there. I feel like I'm within 5 minutes of the 30-minute mark. And I might do that. I might actually hit it this time. But it's like I'm trying to hit it, but I also don't want to rush and mess things up or be sloppy. So let's see. But I just have a bit of shading left to go, and then I'm going to give it a run through and see if there's anything that I want to adjust. It's been going pretty well though. I haven't been doing any portrait drawings other than the ones I've been doing live. So in case you've been wondering about that, like this is my only practice. I have been doing other sketches and paintings, but I have not been doing any portraits. So it's just it's a little bit different. Even though honestly, just if you are drawing what you see, you're drawing what you see no matter what it is. Still using those skills. Okay, now I'm checking the neck. He's got a collared shirt, and so the neck is showing in this area here. And the collar seems to come down here. This makes for 2 out of the 3 drawings of the year so far, people, with a collar and a tie. And if you haven't seen the first drawing, which is the other one with the tie, then I don't want to spoil it for you. But you might already have seen it because that was the cover, the temporary cover for this thumbnail today. Okay, so we have a suit, we've got the tie, and I am not going to go too detailed on this tie because I don't want to emphasize any of those details there. I just want to hint that this is a tie here. All right. I'm curious if you know who this is. Shout it out. Let me know. Did I do a good job? Is it recognizable? Can you tell who this is? Do you need a hint? All right, I am going to take one look up here now and check. I'm feeling like the head came out a little too flat. There's a little more dimension up here. And I'm going to open the chat up here just to see. Yeah, I don't think we've been missing any chat. Oh, okay. Just a little more detail. I'm zooming in on it a little to see if there's anything else that I missed, but there's a couple little eyelashes in here. Okay, and over here as well. Now, clean that up back there. A little bit up here. And let's just adjust up here a little bit as well. Need a little more room right there. Okay, there we go. Well, I think I'm just about finished. And so I present you with Mr. Martin Luther King Jr. himself. It's his day, so I felt like I should draw him today. And I think I will call it right there. So what do you guys think? We got some sun shining in the studio now. Thank you for watching today. Please send me your portraits so that I can draw you, because you never know. Next Monday, it might be you. You can send them to me at hello@erinreinholz.com. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed the art in this video, and I look forward to drawing the next portrait next week. See ya.